The founders of the ancient peace traditions taught that our consciousness, the I behind the mask, the fundamental nature of our being, emerges from the field, also referred to as the ether, the vacuum, the void, among many other names. The ancients referred to this field as the One Law, the source of all that is material and immaterial, the All-Father, singular and immutable, the ever-present mind of God, the cosmic ocean of thought. But thought, in the ethereal sense, is not a direct correlate to that experienced by humanity. Our concept of thought is as represented by the neural network of neurons and synapses, of words and images. These are pale reflections of the universal mind. Ours is extremely limited and constrained when compared to infinite and uninhibited mind. In order to wrap our heads around the nature of this omniscient, omnipotent omnipresence, we have to realize that it exists outside of time and space, which is contained within its being, but acts as a feature of it, not its defining trait. Even from a scientific viewpoint, it is known that the universe is more vacuum than matter, by staggering degrees of magnitude. So is God as compared to His creation. When we try to comprehend the mind of God, we must place it in a context which transcends these familiar existential conditions, those of time and space. When we think of mind, on a human level, as a biological process, we think of thoughts. Many couldn't tell you a significant difference between mind and thoughts. To us, one is a function of the other. Thoughts are a temporal and spatial event. They require the passing of time and a location in the brain in order to occur. They can be measured by tools of science, not read so much as detected. Our thoughts are the means by which we connect with the abstract, traversing both biology and psyche, the material and immaterial. But they are still very much a biological function. If thoughts, as we experience them in the physical, require time and space to occur, then what does mind outside of time and space look like? What kind of mind exists in the abstract, the immaterial, the spirit realm? In the abstract, the immaterial, the ether, spirit, there is no course of time, no expanse of space. All that there is. That is to say that being is the only possible state. While the material world is quantitative, it can be counted and numbered, the immaterial world is qualitative. It can only be experienced as a state of being. Human thoughts are labeled as expressions of intelligence, of communication, of mental process, of calculations, of analysis, of imaginings. Cosmic thought is none of these. It is a quality, and even this quality is not easily definable, as it does not exist in corporeal experience. Most languages do not have a satisfactory word which represents this qualia of the universe, of the mind of God. This cosmic mind is the combined essence of love, wisdom, power, joy, of curiosity and creativity. It is all of these things, not as separate characteristics, but as one amalgam of isness, of existence, of being. It is the intelligent, willful consciousness from which all things material and immaterial emerge, from which the life force radiates, and which drives the evolution of the cosmos. This state of being is the source from which you are derived. It is the state from which your mortal consciousness was born, the original state of your mind at the moment of conception, prior to your exposure to stimuli, which sparked the neural activity in your brain, beginning the formation of corporeal thought in your incarnation, in this rendering of your soul specific to the experience which you are having now. At conception, when the first cells which eventually became you began to split and interact and engage with your morphic body plan, the chemical processes which were to shape you, and the mental acuity which you were to develop, rooted in the nature-nurture dynamic. Your original state was true to the fundamental nature of cosmic mind. It was nothing, what some might call a blank slate. Part of the process of our personal evolution along the path of peace, which the ancients taught, is our mortal experience of learning how to survive and thrive as spirit beings in the flesh. Our formative years, when our brain is not fully developed, is bound to our lower selves and driven by it. Once our mental self matures, remaining in this state is counterproductive to our personal evolution. It is a regressed state. This is the point at which we must unlearn the self-centered, immature, emotionally out of balance, survivalist mentality which has dominated our psyche as children, and grow as spiritual beings to achieve our cosmic directive of spirituality, which is the purpose of life. This means that the vast majority of our life experience trains us to reject the nothingness from which our local consciousness emerged, the state of sublime stillness which permeates the non-temporal, non-spatial mind of the cosmos, and we are tasked as maturing beings with advanced intelligence, sharing in the essence of the All-Father, which is spirit, to transcend our lower self, that part of us which is tied to the material, and return to this state of nothingness, of blankness, what is referred to as our original conscious state of Tabula Rasa. This process takes lifetimes. Every time we reincarnate, we continue the journey, usually forgetting our past life experiences, for the purpose of continuing our personal evolution as a soul. The only part of us which transcends these local consciousness experiences is higher self, our spirit, what some refer to as soul. Some lifetimes we regress, and others we progress, depending on how we handle the circumstances presented to us. The point of this process is to grow, to evolve along the path of peace, as taught by the ancients, to perfect our lower self to align with the perfection that is our higher self, our spirit self, allowing our spirit to commune in the most direct and intimate way with the All-Father, the Source, God. Achieving this higher state of being is referred to by some as Christ consciousness, cosmic consciousness, Atman realization, of achieving nirvana, of ascending to heaven. This requires quieting the mind, of eliminating its overt activity. The mind is a tool to assist us along the path of peace. It allows us to understand and appreciate, to experience at the highest level the things the Creator has gifted us, the beauty of His creation, and the wonder of His works. But to realize our purpose, that of communion with the All-Father, attainment of spirituality, we must develop the skill of quiet stillness in our mind. We must look to the center of our being, where our higher self resides, to connect and commune via the forces of nature, sun, air, water, earth, and the forces of the cosmos, love, wisdom, power, joy, with the eternal. We must strive to return to the Tabula Rasa, the state of our being at the moment of our conception, overcoming the bad habits and negative thought patterns we picked up along the way, transcending our corporeal experience to find peace. That peace which can only be found at the depths of our being, within, not without. That peace which is consubstantial with the source of all creation, the seed of our existence. This is the test that is our life. It can only be achieved by our own efforts, by our own will. No one can do it for us. In this way, while in physical form, and in striving to return to eternal bliss, the highest thought possible for us as humans is no thought. The absence of thought processes, the quieting of the mind, allows one to hear the still small voice of one's higher self, their spirit, which is the only part of us able to directly and intimately commune with the All-Father. Our higher self gently whispers to us, urging us toward the right and true, the proper and just. We are all familiar with this urging. We know it. Often, our mind rejects this urging, this voice, to our peril and the peril of others in our sphere. If we turn a deaf ear to the voice of our higher self, it will become distant, faint, and muffled, and if we turn from it repeatedly and consistently, we can silence it entirely. To be clear, the highest form of thought, according to the founders of the ancient peace traditions, is no thought. If you insist on entertaining thought, the second highest form of thought is love. The third highest form of thought is wisdom. The fourth, power. And the fifth, joy. These, the forces of the cosmos, will assist you in your pursuit of personal evolution along the path of peace, and serve you well as platforms from which to operate until you ascend to the highest state of consciousness, that of nothingness, of quietness, of stillness. This highest state of consciousness, that of nothingness, is not devoid of the forces of the cosmos as delineated above. It contains all of them, imbuing them all as one state of fluid being. In the same way that white is the combination of all colors, so too is the quieted soul, in its purest and most pristine state of nothingness, inclusive of all other states of thought, of consciousness. No thought is a state of pure being, resonance, experience. It is the highest state of one's consciousness, consubstantial with the essence of the Source, the One Law, the All-Father, God. The constituent states of consciousness, within nothingness, are love, wisdom, power, and joy. Love and its parallels, kindness, understanding, compassion, generosity, and so on, are binding agents, bringing all things together. Wisdom and its parallels, patience, virtue, prudence, and long-suffering, are guiding forces toward the right and true, the proper and just. Power and its parallels, consideration, thoughtfulness, resourcefulness, and charity, affect positive change in the lives of those in our sphere. Joy and its parallels, bliss, felicity, happiness, and contentment, radiate to all living beings in real time, contributing to the overall hopefulness of the planet via the planetary feeling body, the intuitive connection of all life forms, past, present, and future. These degrees of consciousness, joy which ascends to power, power which ascends to wisdom, wisdom which ascends to love, serving as a critical part of our personal evolution along the path of peace as taught by the ancients, are melded into one state of being, our highest achievement as mortals, the original state of our consciousness at the point of conception, to which we strive, that of the purest and most pristine form of our transcendent soul, of cosmic consciousness, oneness with the Source, the One Law, the All-Father, God. This sublime experience of being, which is referred to as Tabula Rasa,